Picture this, two believers praying in the same church. One drives away in a luxury car, the other counts coins for bus fare home. Both love God with all their hearts. Both tithe faithfully, both serve with passion. Yet their bank accounts tell completely different stories. Tonight I'm going to shatter everything you think you know about God and money. What I'm about to reveal will challenge the very foundation of what you've been taught about divine favor and material blessing. Are you ready to discover why the Almighty seems to play favorites with His children's wallets? Before we dive deeper into this mystery that has puzzled believers for centuries, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. You've been lied to. The religious establishment has fed you a narrative that poverty equals purity and wealth equals wickedness. But here's the twist that will blow your mind. This isn't biblical truth. It's man-made tradition designed to keep you small. Look deeper into the scriptures and you'll find a shocking revelation. Abraham wasn't just blessed spiritually. He was incredibly wealthy, owning vast herds and gold. Solomon didn't choose poverty. God gave him riches beyond imagination. Job wasn't rewarded with spiritual blessings alone. He received double the material wealth he had lost. But here's where it gets interesting. These weren't accidents or exceptions, they were patterns. Divine blueprints hidden in plain sight. The religious mind has created a false dichotomy, splitting the sacred from the material. But what if I told you that this separation never existed in God's original design? What if the very thing you've been taught to reject is actually part of your spiritual inheritance? In my years of observing the faithful, I've discovered something profound. Every believer falls into one of three categories when it comes to money, and each reveals a different relationship with the divine. First, there's the sacrificial soul. This believer gives everything away, living in perpetual lack, believing that emptiness equals holiness. They wear their poverty like a badge of honor, convinced that suffering brings them closer to heaven. But here's the paradox. Their constant need actually prevents them from being the blessing they're meant to be. Then we have the fearful hoarder. This believer saves obsessively, driven by terror of tomorrow's uncertainty. They pray for provision while simultaneously declaring through their actions that God cannot be trusted to provide. Their abundance sits stagnant like spiritual constipation, blocking the flow of divine circulation. But the third archetype holds the key that unlocks everything. The faithful steward doesn't own their wealth. They manage it. They don't hoard it. They circulate it. They don't fear it. They dance with it as a partner in divine purpose. Can you guess which archetype experiences the most profound breakthrough? The answer might shock you because it's not who the religious world tells you it should be. Here's the revelation that changes everything. God doesn't care about the numbers in your account. He cares about the posture of your heart. The secret isn't in the amount, it's in the attitude. There's a hidden principle operating in the spiritual realm that most believers never discover. It's the difference between ownership and stewardship. When you believe you own something, you become its slave. When you understand you're merely managing it, you become free. Think about this for a moment. The billionaire who clutches every penny in fear is spiritually poorer than the generous person with modest means. The wealthy individual paralyzed by guilt about their abundance is actually blocking their own blessing pipeline. But here's where it gets mystical. Money is energy. Wealth is flow. When you try to dam the river, you stop the current. When you become a channel instead of a container, you become part of the eternal circulation system that connects heaven to earth. The universe is waiting to flood your life with abundance, but it can only flow through open hands, never closed fists. This is why some believers remain broke despite their prayers. They're asking for something they're energetically rejecting. You've heard the principle, give, and it shall be given unto you. But why do some people sow faithfully yet harvest nothing but disappointment? Why do others plant once and reap for lifetimes? The answer lies in the invisible realm where intention meets action. There's a secret ingredient that transforms mere giving into spiritual sowing. And most people completely miss it. When you give from guilt, you're not sowing. You're paying penalty fees to your own conscience. When you give from manipulation, trying to bribe the divine, you're not planting seeds. You're making bad investments. When you give from fear, hoping to avoid punishment, you're not farming. You're purchasing insurance. But when you give from overflow, from joy, from genuine love for the divine dance of circulation, that's when miracles happen. That's when the spiritual laws of multiplication activate. Here's the mind-bending part. Some people are blocked from receiving not because they don't give enough, but because they can't receive. They have spiritual allergies to abundance. Deep in their subconscious, they believe they don't deserve good things. So even when blessings try to flow their way, they unconsciously sabotage them. The universe is always saying yes to your deepest beliefs about yourself. If you believe you should struggle, you'll find ways to struggle. If you believe you're meant for abundance, you'll discover opportunities everywhere. Here's a truth that will revolutionize your understanding. God uses both wealth and poverty as spiritual gymnasiums. Both are training grounds designed to develop different muscles of your soul. Some people need the discipline of lack to learn dependence on the divine. Others need the responsibility of abundance to learn stewardship and generosity. The test isn't the same for everyone because the lesson isn't the same for everyone. The person struggling financially might be learning to trust beyond their circumstances. The wealthy person might be learning to hold lightly what they've been given much. Both are being prepared for their unique destiny. But here's the plot twist that changes everything. The test isn't permanent, it's preparation. Poverty is not your identity, it's your training program. Wealth is not your reward, it's your responsibility. The moment you understand that your current financial state is simply your current classroom, you stop being a victim and start being a student. And students, unlike victims, eventually graduate. We've reached the moment of truth. Everything we've explored leads to this single, life-altering realization. Your relationship with money is a mirror of your relationship with the divine. If you see God as stingy, you'll struggle with scarcity. If you see God as abundant, you'll align with overflow. If you see God as unpredictable, you'll live in financial chaos. If you see God as faithful provider, you'll experience consistent provision. The question isn't whether God wants you rich or poor. The question is, what is your financial life teaching you about your spiritual beliefs? Your bank account is a printout of your subconscious programming. Your income level reflects your internal acceptance level. Your financial patterns reveal your deepest spiritual assumptions. But here's the beautiful truth. You can rewrite the program. You can change the pattern. You can shift the assumption. Right now, in this moment, you're being invited to step into a new relationship with both the material and the mystical. Not as enemies, but as dance partners. Not as opposites, but as expressions of the same divine source. The choice is yours. Will you continue living the lie that spirituality and prosperity are incompatible? Or will you step into the truth that you were designed to be blessed and to be a blessing? The universe is holding its breath, waiting for your answer.